I'm taking my colon cleanse from Zola's Original Herbal Remedies. Anyway, so hello everyone. I am Ayana, and it's my first time making a video, so a health video at that. And this topic kind of been on my mind for a very long time, but I've been really hesitant about making a video. So let me just officially introduce myself. I go by Ayana Yakme, and I work as a nurse practitioner. I specialize in adult and geriatric health, and currently I work in like home visit. I go to people's home and provide services like physical assessment, all the shindig. So I wanted to speak about something that I observe in my practice from practicing as a nurse practitioner. And I have observed a lot of things, but one of the things that like troubled me the most is that everyone is on a medication called proton pump inhibitors. I'm not going to focus on proton pump inhibitors in this video. In this video, I want to speak about gastric acid, hydrochloric acid, and the importance of it. And then in another video, I want to do speak about the medications. I just want to give a background first, and I don't want to make the videos too long. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the importance of gastric acid. So I've made some notes because it's my first time, so forgive me if you see me looking down. So first I want to get into the digestive system. So basically the entire digestive system is made up of a muscular tube extended from your mouth to your anus. So digestion begins in your mouth. As a matter of fact, digestion may begin in your brain. Sometimes when you feel hungry, your brain, and you are thinking about food, your brain's already started to release stomach acid based on your thoughts about food. So anyway, so digestion begins in the mouth. So it covers from the mouth to your anus, and at a point where the esophagus leads into the stomach, the digestive tube is usually kept shut by muscles of the esophagus and the diaphragm. When you swallow, these muscles relax and the lower end of the esophagus opens, allowing food to enter the stomach. Now, if this mechanism does not work properly, gastric acid juices will, backflow, causing, irritation of the esophagus and inflammation. So what they call like heartburn or indigestion. In the large part of the stomach called the body, food is churned and broken down into small pieces, and pre-digested food is mixed with gastric acid juice and enzymes. At the exit of the stomach, the body of the stomach narrows to form the pyloric canal, where partially digested food is passed down into the small intestine. So basically digestion starts in your mouth, and then you have pre-digestion in the stomach, and then you move on into the small intestine for further digestion. So the stomach wall is made up of several layers of mucous membranes, connective tissue and blood vessels, and muscle fibers. The muscle layers has 3 different sublayers, and what these muscles do is helps to move the contents of food from your stomach around, basically like breaking it and growing it down, and mixing into like a smooth food pulp, where it, for digestion, where it continues through digestion, basically. So the inner mucous membrane has large folds, and these large folds has tiny little glands, and these glands make digestive enzymes, hydrochloric acid, mucus, and bicarbonate. Those are what's like responsible for digestion. So gastric juice is made up of digestive enzyme, as I mentioned, hydrochloric acid, and other substances that are important for absorbing your nutrients, basically for absorbing, breaking down, and absorbing your food. About 3 to 4 liters of gastric juice are produced per day in a normal individual, normally. Hydrochloric acid in the gastric juice breaks down the food. The digestive enzyme splits up the protein. So the gastric acid juice doesn't only breaks down your food, it also like may kill like bacteria or any unwanted organisms that comes in when you eat your food, whether it may come in through your food or through water or whatever. So this ensures that the stomach, together with bicarb, this ensures that the stomach wall itself is not damaged by hydrochloric acid. And I'm speaking about like the mucous membrane covering of your stomach is not is a protective coating. That's what I'm speaking about. Like hydrochloric acid kills bacteria, but it doesn't damage your stomach lining because of the mucous membrane. An increase in hydrochloric acid causes a decrease in your pH in your stomach. So, which also affects when the pH in your stomach increases with increase in hydrochloric acid, it stimulates motility also, so which is also responsible for partially digesting your food. So as I mentioned before, the gastric acid helps kill bacteria that's normally digested in food or water, and stomach acid also stimulate the release of bile from the liver and the gallbladder. And bile, which is important for protein digestion, hydrochloric acid also stimulates the release of digestive enzyme from the pancreas. Now, without adequate hydrochloric acid secretion, large fragments of your proteins enter into the small intestines and may compromise the efficiency of the digestive process. Stomach acid also activates glycoprotein intrinsic factor, which is responsible for intrinsic factor is produced in the stomach, and hydrochloric acid is what stimulates that or activates that, which is essential for the production, or not production, but the absorption of B12 vitamins. Hydrochloric acid also, increase in hydrochloric acid also opens the pyloric sphincter, stimulate the opening of your pyloric sphincter, which helps to the movement of food from the stomach to the small intestine, and is being facilitated by the pyloric sphincter. One of the function of the stomach acid is to activate the sphincter, okay, which aids in digestion. So, problems with when you have low stomach acid. So, if you have low stomach acid, you're going to have problem with digestion of protein molecules as well as minerals from your food intake, which becomes ineffective due to, basically, if your stomach acid is too low, they won't be able to break down your food, break down the proteins into smaller molecules, and absorption of the minerals from the food. So the undigested protein molecules enter into the small intestine now, which causes like stress, and or burden on the pancreas ability to produce pancreatic enzymes and to metabolize them. So this end up depleting the pancreatic storage and stress puts stress on the intestinal lining that results in amino acid deficiencies, mineral deficiencies, and undigested protein that have not been broken down into amino acid components for absorption. So basically, they just sit there, not being broken down or absorbed. So these large protein molecules cause irritation of the gut lining and can cause leaky gut syndrome. And to me, basically, leaky gut syndrome is basically just malabsorption because you're not absorbing your food. So basically just sits in there and basically ferments. So when you eat your food, and if your food is not being broken down properly or is not being absorbed properly, or if there's like a motility with your intestinal lining, the food basically just sits there and you're eating your food and you're eating sweets, sugary things, and on top of the food. So basically is the sugar, it just sits there and ferments and break it and sit in your gut, and then it get absorbed by your bloodstream. So it's like food particles, undigested food particles just go back into your bloodstream. So that's what that is. And when it's absorbed back into your bloodstream, it could trigger like inflammation in the body, parasites, infection, candida overgrowth, yeast, fungal. So if you're getting yeast infection a lot, yeah, that could be a problem. You could have a very gassy, greasy stool because you're not breaking down your fats. What is that called? That's also called something. They have a disease diagnosis for everything, but really, personally, and these are just my opinion here, this is like no way diagnosing anyone. This information is just information purposes, just for teaching. So if your fats, your food and your fats, and if you eat a lot of greasy fried food too, that too, and you're not absorbing your food properly, you have malabsorption problem because you have low stomach acid problem. You could be gassy, bloated, and have greasy stool, stomach, abdominal pain, bloating. You may have diarrhea too. If you have a lot of inflammation in your stomach, you could end up having diarrhea. So I think those diseases, they contribute to like colitis, like inflammation of your intestine. Crohn's disease, that's also inflammation. Everything is inflammation. Everything is caused by inflammation. I don't want to get too deep into this, but to me, it's like when you eat a lot of acidic foods, when your food is very acidic, that leads to inflammation. That causes inflammation in your body. Acidity causes inflammation, and then your body is trying to correct it. So that's why you may end up having like the release of mucus because of all the inflammation. So you start building up mucus in different organs, your brain, your lungs, wherever, your stomach. And when you're having all this inflammation too, that is why you may end up having what they called high cholesterol, because in reality, cholesterol is released when you're having a lot of inflammation and damage to your arteries. So your body is trying to repair it, so your cholesterol goes up. Also, completely off topic, but I notice in practice that a lot of people who have high cholesterol tend to have vitamin D deficiency. Food for thought there. But anyway, let's go back to the stomach and hydrochloric acid. So you may have like yeast infection, fungal overgrowth, bloating, nausea, constipation, indigestion, indigestion because the food is like you're sitting there like fermenting, which produces a lot of gas, and you know what happened? Gas rises. So when the gas rises, it pushes your the esophagus backflow open, and that's how the gastric contents go backwards into your esophagus, causing the indigestion, burning. It could also cause fatigue and malnourishment, which is really the most important one here, is the malnourishment. So normal pH in the stomach ranges from 1.5 to 3, depending on the factors such as your food intake, stress, medications, or if you're taking any supplements. So when you go back to food intake again, so one of them that I've been thinking about is people who's always drinking alkaline water. So now you're drinking alkaline water and you eating at the same time is not good, because you need your stomach to be acidic to break down your food. So all those of you who love drinking, which you shouldn't even drink while you eat. You shouldn't. You should drink before you eat and wait and then drink. And wait and then eat. Drink first and then wait and then eat. That's what I meant to say. But what I want to focus on is medications that affects your hydrochloric acid level in your stomach. And the medication that I'm going to focus on, there's a different number of them. You have the H2 blockers, but you have the proton pump inhibitors, which is the one that most widely used. So in practice, when I practice, as a nurse practitioner, I notice that almost everyone is on a proton pump inhibitor, and they've been on them for years and years, which is not supposed to be. You should only be on that for a very short period of time. So what I notice in practice is that a lot of people who are on proton pump inhibitors, which are act as an antacid, it stop your stomach from producing acid, tend to be constipated, always complaining about their stomach, then don't go to the bathroom frequently, could be overweight as well. They have malabsorption, like deficiency in minerals. So that's what I'm going to talk about in the next video, which is antacid, specifically proton pump inhibitors, because that's the one that's mainly used, and that is the one that is pushed a lot. So I'm going to end this video, and I hope I wasn't too boring since this is my first time making this video. And I hope everyone could take this information and apply it, make some changes, and keep an eye out for the second video. Will be about the medication that affects your hydrochloric acid in your stomach, which also affects your absorption of your food. All right, thank you. Bye.